back to wherever this channel is. It's still not given a name yet. We'll give it a name because I need it in the comments below. Support us on nothing and please subscribe. Yes. We're gonna just that. Yeah, I think I did.
Some notes.
One second. Yes, so we're going to be talking about how does evolution work. We know that animals and plants have changed over time. Fungi, protists, bacteria, and archaea too. And this is through evolution. Evolution is the process of a certain species passes on genes and makes new kind of things through sexual reproduction. And evolution started when life first emerged, and the vent that they were born in was carrying gas up. So they were being carried with it.
Well, when you say they, what are you talking about?
I mean, like the Archaea, the first life forms.
Oh, the Archaea. So these are small, single-celled organisms, more primitive than bacteria. Do I have that right?
You have that right.
Okay.
They got carried up, and all they were doing was multiplying, and it was the exact same kind of thing. So when they were lifted up in the air vents, they were lifted up toward the radioactive zone of the cell surface. And there was lots of radioactivity, so the radioactivity then bashed through boom, boom, and affected their genes, mutating them, and some of them had like a sexual reproduction trait in them. So they reproduced rapidly and evolved and started to dominate. And
well, before you go further, I just want to make sure this is clear. So there were these simple organisms, single-cell organisms, that sort of, at least among the first, if not the first form of life. And you call them the Archaea.
Yes, they actually are the Archaea.
Yeah.
And before that, it was just simple DNA that somehow gained self-awareness and became the Archaea.
Self-awareness? That's what you do? No. At any rate, the Archaea, some tumult, some kind of, upheaval where they were, and probably in the ocean, pushed them up into a different kind of environment, like closer to the surface of the water. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And there they're exposed to things in the atmosphere.
The atmosphere was very radioactive
So there was radioactivity in the atmosphere and the rays of the sun, I'm assuming, also.
Yes, that's why in the first continent, well, there weren't really any continents, sheer islands of biomass. Not biomass, just mass. Sheer islands of mass that were the sky was radioactive, so nothing on them.
Yeah, so this radioactivity in the environment began to, and we haven't talked about DNA yet, but with much specificity, but at any rate, this radioactivity would damage the DNA, or as you said, it would just sort of change the genes, cause these mutations, and some of the results of those mutations, well, maybe you want to say what you, go ahead.
Yes, and they reproduced rapidly, and since they didn't need it anymore because they had sexual reproduction, they didn't like it, they weren't used to it. So, you know what? Out of the vent they went. They're like, we're leaving here, and just went out of the air vent they were born in to the outside ocean, and they remained in the deep. And then a new kind of bacteria evolved known as cyanobacteria, which pumped oxygen in the atmosphere. Burp, burp, there's oxygen. And not into the atmosphere yet, just all over the ocean. So eventually, oxygen-breathing bacteria evolved and then life was a lot more prosperous. But we'll talk about that in a later episode. Like, how do they change? Is they're random. They get the passing on of DNA to offspring. So, like, half of DNA is in the female, half of DNA is in the male. So, like, the DNA of the female branched into half, and then this half floated about. And the same thing happened with the male, and then they combined, and then went into another organism that then pumped back, the Archaea that pumped back to the later Archaea that pumped back.
Okay, so let me try to put all these things together and see if we're sort of thinking the same thing. We have the Archaea. They migrate to another region of the ocean where the conditions are different, and they undergo genetic changes. And what we haven't quite talked about is how that happens, but that's radiation or other environmental factors changing their genes. And then here's the piece that is kind of missing, but I think you've implied it. At some point, there's a move to sexual reproduction, where you have two different kinds of the same species of organism, and they combine their genetic information. So that becomes yet another way in which the genes can be changed or altered.
Yes, but we're going to get to that a little bit, but there weren't really genders back then. There was just different kinds of the same species. They somehow, they like stuck together, which was not really efficient, and then their genes went together, and then they produced a genome that then went into an Archaea, another Archaea. Now, when they passed on the DNA to the offspring, the DNA undergo a journey, and then that got changed. So the DNA got changed a bit, and this still happens. So now the offspring has a different traits, but they don't really have different traits. Now that we understand that when they get down to one of that animal, it now propagates, makes more of itself. The next generation after that one, which in another tree there is also one, they mate, and then they produce a new offspring, and that offspring is a new species that is the evolution. So if you were to willing, we'll say 8 Archaea, 2 that, like, and select two of each, and then combine them together.
Well,
that would make about like 4, and then the 2 of those 4 would mate. That would make about 2 more, and then those 2 would mate, and then same thing would happen with another tree, and then those 2 that are the results mate together and make a new offspring that will start a new chain of species.
all right, so let me, again, kind of come back around and see if we want to put these together this way, see if you agree with this. So the Archaea go into a different environment where they experience different kinds of conditions. And you have lots of them. And they're exposed to radiation from the sun and other radioactive forces in the atmosphere. Something that's sort of altering their genes. And as a result of that, you have a variety. These changes in their genetic makeup result in a variety of traits among these early organisms. And some of those traits are better adapted to the environment than others. And those that are better adapted have more likelihood of reproducing. So you have a lot of them, and then a few of them sort of rise above the general mass, and those few are the ones who are successful at reproducing. So in the next few generations, you've got this new kind of organism with different traits.
Yes.
And so it goes until they gradually change. And some of them end up separating from each other and living in different environments.
Yes, now I finally understand. Didn't even know. So then it happens all over again. The remaining species dies out if they do. And if they do die out, that means that that species is left. So that is their last hope for the future. Well, at least what they think. But they probably didn't think because they didn't really have minds. Considering that, the first ever bacteriums, they did the same thing, and they produced a new type of bacterium known as cyanobacteria, which I told you already, but let's not get into that because that's something we have to say for like the 8th episode. Yes, but back to the Archaea. If they combine their genes, then how exactly does the genes get any different? It's a success story, and we might pass on our genes to some sort of future life form if we keep going like this. And it's actually really special to be in this world for life. Like, if it wasn't for a simple air vent that pushed out gases in a deep, deep ocean, you wouldn't have been here to watch this video, and this studio would have been just a mere radioactive wasteland